plug this up. Oh my gosh. No. Huh? Mike's assistant is supposed to do this stuff.
If you will, we're going to call this meeting to order. This is a Williston City Council meeting. It is Tuesday, June the 2nd. It is 6 p.m. And I will ask the city clerk to please call the roll.
Mayor Goodman.
I am here.
Council President Hinds, she's excused. Vice President Jones.
Here.
Councilmember Cox.
Here.
Councilmember Martin.
Here.
Councilmember Church.
Here.
Chief City Manager Mike Rose.
Here.
Attorney Kiersten Ballou.
Here.
City Clerk Latricia Wright. I'm here. And all other staff. Thank you.
That was kind of weak.
Very weak. Thank you.
Okay, we thank you for joining us tonight. We will, at this time, start with the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance by the Mayor.
Join me if you choose. Lord, we meet together. And Lord, we ask for you to give us the wisdom that we need to make the right decisions for our city. Lord, without you, we are like blind men. But with your guidance, we can do the right thing and make things better for our community. Lord, I ask you to be with each one of these counselors to give them individually and collectively the wisdom they need to make the decisions they need to make. And I ask you to be with the police department, Lord, all over our country. Police are being assaulted. And I ask that you give ours a hedge of protection and give them the wisdom to be able to de-escalate and to protect themselves and our community. I ask you to be with our country, Lord. Our country, which is founded on, in God we trust. I ask all these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item number 1 is additions, deletions, or changes, or approval of the minutes of the agenda, excuse me. Do I have a motion?
I have a motion to approve addition, deletions, changes, and approval of the agenda.
I second.
And we're approving it as presented, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I have a motion. I have a second. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 5 is public participation. This is the first opportunity for the public to comment. At this time, you have another opportunity at the end, but if you have something you'd like to say at this time about anything that is not on our agenda, please come to the podium. Please state your name and city of residence.
Robert Langen, 500 Northwest 5th Avenue, Williston. I was up here 2 weeks ago and asked who to get a hold of about the lighting issues in our subdivision. I was given that Alex's and Mike's name. I met with them Tuesday after the Wednesday morning after the Tuesday, or Wednesday afternoon. After the Tuesday meeting, I was told I would have an estimate for the additional lights in a day, day and a half, and that they would be working on to get the little light up in the corner that I found out appears to be missing some conduit. As of today, right now, 6:06, there's not been one damn thing done. I have not received a quote. We're wanting to buy the lights. It's not like we're asking you to put out money for the lighting. we're willing to buy the lights, but I gotta have a price on them.
Sure.
And I gotta have a price so I can get you all paid for them so you can get them ordered.
Okay.
It doesn't work. And I'm gonna tell you what, the city over this thing, and that light's been there for 3 or 4 months. And I'm about to the point I'm gonna check, see if we've been being billed for it. Because I bet you were being billed for X number of lights, period. Maybe not, but I don't know.
I see Alex's light on. If you'll please let him respond.
It took a little longer to get the quotes from my logistics guy. I do have the quotes ready for you, so I apologize for delaying that. The conduit side of things, it's whenever electrical gets freed up from the current projects they are working on. So I do apologize for that, but I can't just pull them off the project they are currently working on.
I understand you can't leave work done. And I don't want you to leave my work undone either when you get to it. But I was told Wednesday 2 weeks ago you would have some of it done by now. I'm just saying it's not getting done, and it's a lack of management as far as I'm concerned.
But it also has to be responded back for the estimates. I mean,
I'm talking about the conduit.
we have to wait on
We got
people
one
as
light
well.
sitting there that's been dark since they put it in at the very
It's
beginning.
just not connected.
I was told there was 2 conduits missing. I paid that, the HOA paid to have those 2 conduits put in and the lights set.
Okay.
Now I've learned that the other light, this third light up in the actual corner, is only partially conduit installed. I mean, bottom line, at the end of the day, you all inspected this and you all accepted it. This is ultimately your all's fault for this stuff not being done. Regardless of Lennar's poor performance and the Armstrong and whoever else, you all ultimately have to sign off, and I know you've not signed off on everything.
That's correct.
But it shouldn't have been buried. I know I only got to bury my underground for my generator because we put sensors in, and actually we had to leave it open while they did a pressure test on it. You all dropped the ball on it.
Thank you. I appreciate your comments. Anyone else?
Make it quick. Excuse me, Dan Kaufman, 32 Northwest 4th Street. I'll make it quick. I'm going to go and put all 5 issues that I have all in one quick term, and then if there's anything after the meeting goes, we'll give you something to think about. The first one is today the Senate and the House has nothing to do with property value issue. It now goes to all the voters in the state of Florida. So that property tax issue has evidently got further than everyone thought it would. And now we're going to be looking in times where we're going to try to find revenue from someplace else if that takes place. Second issue, I'm going to be a real stick about this. It's the 1-year turnover to the city on the cable company over the wires and the equipment. That is all up to par, and it is, and you get your information that you had asked for on the, what's the name of that wire? Soy wire? Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to be a sticker on that. I really do want to know if they've used that or they did not use it, or if they in any way, shape, or form, because most of this I understand was buried, but you've got some that goes above ground, and that seems to be where they've had their first major problem, is the above ground stuff. Second thing is that someone told me that there was over 100 employees in the city of Williston. Is that?
If you'll repeat that, I'm sorry.
100 employees, at least 100 employees in the city of Williston. That's including the fire department and, and everything else. If in fact, if we do have a property tax issue, then probably I would be suggesting that we would look at staff and see what's duplicated, or secretaries of secretaries, or people who need secretaries that doesn't need secretaries, that we'd be paying to do their job, to where that way we can bring the cost of the city down and bring it more within the lines of a budget. And it's going to be a tight budget, so I wanted to put that out there as something that I think all of you collectively needs to be considering and thinking about from now on. And I guess the next one, which is DeSantis today, I heard him on the news channel this morning while I was eating my cereal. And it's something he said that I've thought for years and years and years, but it's one of those things that he's reviewing the possibility of residents never having children do not be required to pay educational taxes in their future taxes. So that's something that he's not passing, but he's decided to take it on in review. So that could be another big slam for the education board, if in fact he does get that into the motions. All right, that's it.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Okay. At this time then, we will move to item number 6, which is the consent agenda, which consists of the city council minutes of May the 19th. They are in your packet. Anybody have any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Ms. Debra,
Yes, ma'am.
Madam President, Vice President,
No, you're good.
before you all approve the minutes, I just need to get the last name of the gentleman that just spoke.
Mr. Dan, what's your last name?
Thank you, and that's missing off of the minutes.
Okay,
As you can see, I put his first name but not his last.
thank you. A motion with that addition.
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
A second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 7 is updates, staff, board, and council updates. We will also be doing a CRA and planning and zoning update if they are so inclined. I see they're both here. We will get to you. If you would like to chime in, we would love to have it. I will start, however, with the chief city manager.
Thank you, Vice President. Ms. Jones. Today I attended the county commissioner meeting. I'm glad to report back that they were discussing Cornelius Williams Park, and it was approved to move forward with the rezoning. So that I think we have one more meeting. Am I right? We have one more meeting to get the final approval for the rezoning of Cornelius Williams Park. I want to give a shout out to Laura. She did an excellent job on her presentation today in the council meeting. I also want to give a shout out to our commissioner for the Williston area, Mr. Johnny Hires, who also did a great job with supporting this effort to get this rezoning done and for Cornelius Williams Park. It was great to see the teamwork between the county commissioners and JB Pro as well, getting that process passed. We had some support from some citizens that was there that were excited to see that we're going to start moving forward with that project. So I want to report that back to the council, as well as Ms. Meredith. I know you've been beating this drum for a while, so I'm happy to tell you that this stack of paper is all the stuff that we will be disposing from the sewer plant as well as the barn. So we went through it. We'll be moving forward with that, trying to get rid of that stuff to get that area cleaned up as well. Today, I had to make some decisions on some personnel changes. For those of you who don't know, Alex will be leaving the city soon, going on a new adventure in his life. We want to thank Alex for what he's done for the city since he's been here, and we wish him well on his new endeavor. Before he departs, we had to make some changes so we can have some people in those positions that could spend some time with Alex to familiarize themselves with what we have going on and what projects need to be addressed within the city. Yours being first. Temporary utilities director moving forward will be Nate Roberts. Assistant Utilities Director will be Mike Miller, but Mike Miller will still oversee the electric department. And Jonathan Bishop will now be over streets and parks, water, sewer, the lift station, and gas. This is a temporary position for these folks until we can get some qualified people hired. They're qualified, but get some people hired to fill those roles on a full-time basis. The position for the utilities director has been posted, and we will be taking applications as they come in. Other than that, Vice President Jones, I have nothing else.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions for the city manager? Excuse me, the chief city manager. Okay. All right. We'll go to staff then. Any staff member? Chief Lamar.
Yes, I just want to make council aware that last week I met with the county manager and the county fire chief and the municipal fire chiefs. We're looking at going through, and as I spoke before last meeting about, we're going through with the contract review, and they're looking at changing the way that things are funded. They're looking at a lot of changes right now. County manager's looking at a lot of changes in a very short time. We're going to work with them the best we can. I don't know that we will get to where they want to get to this year, but you know, we can give it a shot. But make you aware that it's pretty detailed in what we're looking at here, and it's going to be some changes coming down the pipe. So we need to stay on top of this.
Yes, ma'am.
These are changes that I assume are not favorable for us financially.
Sir?
I said unknown.
That is true. It at the end of the day, it would be unknown. If we were to go with what was proposed, you know, just on some random numbers, y'all would smile really big. Most of the other municipalities would not. So I doubt that we'll end up at those numbers. But yeah, you know, the initial, let's throw some numbers out there and see what happens. It would be a financial gain for the city of Williston. But for the other municipalities, they might not fare so well. So we're just doing it the best we can in the most fair way we can. And we're going to continue down that avenue. But as the mayor said, he and I have discussed this in depth a little bit, and at the end of the day, it is unknown exactly how it will impact us. But as the numbers come out, we have already set ourselves up. Chief Willis and I have been working on it every day. So we've got the sheets in place, so all we have to do is punch the numbers in, and it'll tell you where we're at. You know, to give you an idea of what they're talking about, she wants to come out with a pay number, and we termed it as keep the lights on, but it would be a readiness payment to keep your equipment and your personnel ready to go. And then there were certain rates that you may want to get paid at a per call rate. You know, some of the municipalities that would affect greatly because their call loads are less than in the county than what they are in the city, where we're on the averages 60-40 or 70-30 county. You know, so they're right there alone makes the impact to us or the money come up in our coffers, but it could potentially go down in others. But like I said, we're watching this very closely, and we're working at it the best we can.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this in response to the property tax?
This was started before that.
Okay.
Yep. Now the property tax is a whole. As I've spoken on that many times, that is a whole new ball game. You know, I don't know the financial impact it's going to have. I don't think any of us know exactly what the impact will be yet. I know it was discussed some in the county commission meeting today, but you know, that's sort of a wait and see. So,
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate you staying on top of it for us.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other staff member? Mr. Mills.
Got a little bit of an update. Thank you. As of today, we have all of the CalLink customers have been migrated to fiber. We have 2 that are in CLE that we don't have fiber to, so we've basically migrated that access point to be on the fiber. but still sending it to them wirelessly because I just can't give it to them any other way. There's 2 in the neighborhood of CLE. One was a new construction. It wasn't included in the initial build, so we don't have fiber for her yet. She's also running off of the wireless. And we have one customer who just hasn't called to make arrangements to convert. So he's just kind of ghosting us, I guess. So those are the only 4 that are still running wirelessly, but they're all migrated to Williston Fiber. We've submitted an order to disconnect that Lumen fiber feed that was feeding CalLink. So that's going to eliminate a $3,381 monthly bill. As of today, we got 49 paying customers on Williston Fiber. We have ONTs installed at the pull-through spots in the park. We've installed 60 of the 63. We've begun testing with the access points out there. We've got a little bit of an issue with the routing not working right, so the consultant's working on that. I don't have an answer on him yet. We also have the final device management software that we were getting Adtran to set up. They finalized that yesterday as far as getting us online and functional. They're still building our scripts to provision the wireless networks and the settings on the routers. I'm expecting to have that by the end of the week. And we're still waiting on the finalized as-builts and the GIS files from LightSet to get the other software up and fully automated. And that's in the air. They keep telling me, end of next week. They've been telling me that for 3 weeks. That's about where we're at. We do expect to get several more commercial clients on this week that have inquired because they're like new construction. They don't have internet, so we're working on trying to get those folks up.
So how about the RV park?
That's what we're working on. We have the pull-through spots in the RV park that we've got 60 of 63 of them.
That's what you meant by that. Okay.
Yeah, we've got the ONTs are installed. The next step is to go out and put the access points on the wireless devices on. And that's what we're testing now, and just had some issues with those they're trying to iron out.
Okay, any other questions for Mr. Mills?
Yes, sir. Is Hector's group finished?
No.
Okay.
They're not finished till they give us all our files and all our sign-ups, sign off on everything that we accepted what they got. We're still waiting on our final numbers. They're supposed to be giving us an actual line item of what was charged, what was paid for, what was credited, because we did a lot of change orders in the actual original order. There was a lot of areas in town that they had initially included that were not in the city limits, so we had to take those out. So there's some of that cost adjustment that's going to have to happen one way or the other. So we really don't know what our final end of project's going to be, but that's kind of where we're at. We're waiting on our files from them, and we're waiting on that finalized, itemized financial statement.
And they've gone back through all the lines, make sure that they're good to go.
To our knowledge, yes. They did have some deficiencies we've got on them, and that was the last line I had here. I just didn't say that as of today, it looks like all of our deficiencies we could identify, they've came back and fixed.
Thank you.
I have 2 questions. Can you answer Mr. Kaufman's question about the...
I did ask, I don't have it on paper or any specifications, but I did ask the contractors doing the install, and they assured me that hasn't been in practice in probably 10 years.
Okay, great.
So,
and second thank you.
Because of that reason, they don't use that anymore.
Perfect. And second question is Hector and his company, are they helping address the tardiness of LightSet's response?
Always, but again, we're still at their mercy.
Yes, sir.
Also, I'd like to add to that Aaron has reached out to some contractors to see about getting price quotes on what it would cost to have them come and help us get some of these installs done. So I think he's waiting on quotes to come back for that now.
Yeah, correct. I've got one, just not even a quote, we're just verbally getting an idea, because Stephen wanted to know a ballpark of what's it going to take. And that's kind of where we're at right now, because we don't have a contract, they would have to put it out for bid. But I did talk to one, and he gave me a verbal estimation of just going to the home, completing the installation, for what I say with the drop in the NIDs already on the house, right. All these pre-registered customers. So just showing up, doing that internal install, hooking them up would probably be anywhere from $100 to $125 a pop. So because they're going to work on piecework. They're going to come in and pay by the job is what they're going to charge you for. So in other words, they're going to come in and work. They're going to be getting paid. They want it done. Don't know for sure what it's going to be when they actually quote it, but that's the ballpark he gave me. That's only one. The second one I talked to was Suncoast, and he's trying to work something up and get back to me.
That's good. At least we're familiar with their work.
Well, estimation would be, as best we could figure, if you got 8 of installs a day per man, isn't just in a ballpark. You might have one that can do 15 or 20. It just depends on how good they go. You might have one could do 4 because they may all be rotten. You know, it happens. But if we averaged at 8 per man, we had 3 men on contract. That's 24 a week, just on a per man, or 24 a day per man. So it would go pretty fast. The problem is once we pop the clutch and go public that we're actually up and live and running, that list we have is going to grow exponentially. And then once we get through all of the pre-dropped customers, then your installation times are going to increase because they actually have to go out and do the actual drop, put the nid on the house, splice the fiber in. So now your installation could take an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. So that's going to really slow down the installations.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. All right. Any other staff member? Nope. Okay. Then I'll move to council members. Do you have any updates that you would like to ask about? I'm going to ask about one. And I'm glad the CRA chair is sitting here. I'm asking about the awning across the street. Sure. You might as well.
Steve McMillan, I chair the Williston CRA. Not a lot of changes. I was just here a month or two ago. We don't work that quick. So generally, we're going to talk about the parking lot is the big one. That's supposed to wrap up in another month or so. This year, I've been told, not next year. But once we made it through the sidewalk issues, it's back up and running full board now. The crunchy awning across the street has been waiting on, well, contracts. Now the contract has been executed, and I haven't found that the permit's been pulled, but we're real close to having the permit. I think the permit was pulled, and once he gets his DOT permits in line, he's got to block off that lane. Then it's 2 weeks worth of work, and it'll be done. So we hosted a chamber function last month, one of the lunch and learns. So I had about 70 some people there. The whole room was full, and I got to speak about where our money comes from, how long we've been doing this, and kind of squash some rumors, and at the same time talk about we had the projects pictures, the manhole, the crazy manhole by the chief's place. We had that up on the wall. Let's see what else we got going. Oh, the marquee sign out front. There's been 6 months of pulling a permit, I've been told. So any minute now, he's going to have a permit and make his on-site inspection to the materials have been ordered and it's ready to rock and roll.
Is that Florida Department of Transportation that we're applying for the permit through?
No, this is the sign people from Georgia.
Oh.
And who are they getting the permits from?
I would assume the city.
From us. Okay.
Yeah. I kept her updates every month at our meetings, and it's permits. So, sidewalks, we're still trying to come up with a game plan, starting in the southeast quadrant on what sidewalks need to be fixed first before we're pouring new sidewalks. But that has become a nightmare of questions. Just simple, hey, let's just make a sidewalk. Well, is there surveying involved? Is there right-of-way definition? Is there tree inspection? How wide is it got to be? 4 feet, 5 feet? Slopes, engineering? I thought it was going to just be a simple question on my end is, hey, can we pour some sidewalks? So it's a process. The little lake out here in front of the pavilion, I think the plans are done, the engineering is done, and the city you were looking into some prices, I think.
Yeah, we just have to get you a price for next month's meeting.
Yeah. Which is next week. Yeah, that's right. So it's cruising along, but again, the stuff just kind of creeps. And that's really all I've got to bring you up to speed.
Just a clarification back to the sign and the permitting.
Mhm.
Have they applied for the permitting
Mhm.
and it's held up here in the city, or have they not applied for the permitting?
Outside of my ability.
Oh.
I don't know. All I hear is permit. Is it probably DOT permit, city permit? I don't know.
It's not
The-
really.
It is the DOT permit for closing down the road.
Well, that's the awning. Is that?
Yes, that's what I thought you were.
He's talking about the marquee now.
The mark,
It is.
the marquee sign is also, I believe it's a DOT.
Like a visual thing for the corner or
I
something.
guess, I don't know.
Thank you.
I could see it would block visual, maybe. Ms. Latricia, back to staff.
This is a question for Mr.
Oh,
McMillan.
Gotcha.
For the record, could you please explain again where the CRA receives their money from?
Well, it comes from property taxes, which I assume we could be out of business pretty soon. But in 99, the city had the forethought to create the CRA. And by the year probably 2000s, early 2000s, we had created our first district, and those tax base was locked. So the county and the city keeps that money like they always do for taxes. Anything above that, which we have the commercial strip in my office, and there's about a block or two in the main district. Anything above that, we get 90-something% back from the county. So in the beginning, first 10 years, it's really just nothing. But now, I don't know the total number, but it's got to be $2 million worth of improvements that we've been able to do to the city. Now, those are earmarked funds for blight, safety, things. Linear Park seems to be a heavy object, but sidewalks, a parking lot falls under
Manhole.
our purview. Fixing the manhole fell under safety. So we can do things like that, striping or whatever we want to do, but it's money that we would have lost is what it is. For the last 25 years, we would have lost it. Now we naturally sunset in 3 years, in 39. What year is it? 29. Okay. We got a few years left to keep doing what we're doing.
And one more question for the record. Your budget, is it in with the city budget, or do you have a separate budget?
We're our own budget. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Is
you.
that it?
Anything else to report? Any questions for Mr. McMillan? We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Any other council member have questions of any kind? Updates that you need an update on something? Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
This is for Major Fortney, and I want to thank you for. I reached out about the trees in front of Shogun. Question about those trees have been cut down and they have replaced them, and I just want to follow up with there are other businesses in town, newish businesses, specifically Tractor Supply, where trees have died and not been replaced, and I just want to know if we are following up on that. And Laura's here. I guess she can answer the questions about the developer's plans for those businesses and whether they are required to replace those trees once they have died. They don't have to replace them. Okay, great. Thank you.
Any other council member have a question? Okay. If not, I'm going to move to the mayor. Mr. Mayor, you need any updates?
I just have one. Alex, sir, you stepped into a very difficult position, and I want you to know that myself and most of us around think you did an excellent job. It was a chaotic situation at best, and I appreciate all the hard work that you put into it and wish you the best.
I appreciate it.
Okay, at this time, I'll ask Mr. Fuller, as the chairman of Planning and Zoning, if you have anything you'd like to add.
Albert Fuller, Chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Basically, for the last 2 months, our full agenda has been comprehensive plan, and you all will be speaking about that tonight. So I can't comment on that. You all will do it during public hearing.
Okay. Thank you. I can see why it would have taken months. We appreciate you coming as always. Any other staff member or council member before we move on? Okay, we'll move then to item number 8, which is new business. Item A, resolution 2026-37, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Williston, Florida, relating to the provision of fire services, facilities, and programs in the City of Williston, Florida, approving Accenture services for annual maintenance services for the City of Williston fire assessment for the fiscal year 2026-27, 2027-28, and 2028-29, and providing an effective date. Chief Lamar Stiegel.
Yes, ma'am. This is something that actually come to our city manager back in January. It was supposed to be brought to you at that point. We are behind the 8 ball on it at this time. I would ask you to go ahead and approve this so we can move forward and catch up.
Any questions for Chief Stiegel on this item? Tell us exactly what it is.
This is the maintenance for the fire assessments where they go in and make sure that we are charging the right amount and we are getting everything that we're owed on that through the county.
Okay. Any questions for the chief? If not, I'll entertain a motion for resolution 2026-37.
I make a motion, we approve resolution 2026-37.
A second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any discussion from anyone? All in favor of the motion say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you. I'll have Miss Latricia or City Manager Mike sign it tomorrow and we'll get it sent back up to him. Thank y'all.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to open a public hearing. Item B, ordinance 2026-758, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Williston, Florida, amending the City of Williston Comprehensive Plan 2018 to 2026, amending such pursuant to Florida State Statute, amending future land use element policy 1.6, agriculture A, which is the designation, adding policy 1.20, economic development element objectives 1 and 4, housing element policy 1.1A and policy 1.2B, conservation element policy 1.1, and FEMA floodplain wetlands inventory, soils inventory maps, inventory maps, public school policy 2.4.2, policy 2.4.5, policy 2.5.2, and policy 2.5.3. Infrastructure element policy 14.2, and clerical editing of objective 1.2, policy 12.3, and policy 18.2. Transportation element policy 1.1C, policy 2.9G, and clerical editing of policy 1.1B. Policy 1.1G, objective 1.2, policy 2.9G, policy 2.1D, policy 2.5A, policy 2.9D, policy 2.11A, and policy 211B. Capital improvement element, clerical editing policy 1.2, policy 2.3, policy 4.7, providing for conflict, providing for effective date, City Planner Laura Jones of JB Pro, who disappeared on me. There you go.
Good evening, Council. Latricia, could you go to my council agenda item, please? Thank you, ma'am. I'm going to get us started here, just giving you a reminder of why we're here. The city's comprehensive plan evaluation and appraisal report, the EARs, are due. In Florida, local governments must periodically review and update plans based on the EAR, often leading to text map amendments to incorporate new data or state requirements. The past few months, we have been meeting with your planning commission, who is your planning committee, who usually does these updates. We've given them all of these packets. We've given them presentations that total to about 4 hours. So what we talked about with the chief was, we're going to give you an overview of exactly what changes need to be made for the state tonight. And then we're going to give you data and analysis review while we're updating the comprehensive plan, which is a project that's still ongoing. We're going to talk a lot about this on the June 6th workshop. But in order to save you time, now we are prepared, if you want, to go over the 4-hour meeting. I'm in. I've got the presentation and Kathy can do it. But we think that this way is a little bit easier. Your eyes won't glaze over. This is really just exciting for planners, not for you guys. And any questions you have on that packet, we can answer tonight. If we can't answer them tonight, we can answer them at that workshop on June 16th. And this is going to be a process that's ongoing. So right now, we're just going to update those EARs for what the state made us do. Things you're going to see are when Florida Commerce changed their name, we had to change their name in our comp plan. Very simple things. Kathy was going to hook up to the computer, but it's not working, so she's going to put that on a flash drive real quick and give it to Latricia. Do you have any questions about why we're here tonight before we get into this?
I don't have a question while we're here, but
Okay.
Tell me what you expect of us by the end of this day.
So tonight, this is an ordinance. So we're hoping that you recommend the ordinance for approval. Then we'll have to come back one more time with we're going to send it to the state.
I started to say what I see says if we approve it tonight, it's going to the state in this form.
So tonight, it's going to go to it'll go to the state if you guys let us. We'll submit it. They'll come back with comments. Typical comments that we're seeing are not things that are going to be things that we changed here. So we're hoping we don't get many comments back. When those comments get back, we will update them and bring them back to you if anything needs to be changed. So that'll be the second reading for this ordinance. So it will be, they usually will do it in about 30 days or something like this. So it's going to be August before you see the second reading for the ordinance. And it could be exactly what we're showing you tonight, or it could be some changes.
But at that point, we can't change it.
The EARs,
without sending it back again.
Right. If you want to change it again, we'll have to go through the whole process again. So these are just EARs. Let us go through this because I think I am going to let you go. I think it's going to be much easier to understand when you see the presentation and Kathy gives you, the details on what we're doing tonight. This is not your comprehensive plan change, guys.
All right. Let me start with the first page that you had up there a minute ago. Are there really 6 members of the Planning and Zoning Commission?
Yes, we don't have 7 right now.
And you don't have 5. You don't have 7, you have 6. That's very odd.
We have a vacant seat.
Okay, that helps.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was my first question.
Good evening. Good evening, Council. As Laura mentioned, tonight we are going through the EAR-based amendments. So I'm going to explain a little bit about the background of this. If you want to move on, Latricia, you can move on to the next one. So I want to explain what the difference between the EAR-based amendments and the vision-based amendments. As you know, we did a lot of community engagement as part of this process, and most of that is directed at the vision-based amendments. But because the state makes changes, there are EAR-based amendments. And the EAR-based amendments are anything that is statutorily required. So you are making changes to your comprehensive plan through this process, and we're going to go through just a handful of changes that we're making, but understand that all of these changes are statutorily required. These are bringing you to current statute from the last time that you updated your comprehensive plan in 2018. So the EAR-based amendments are data-driven, they are regulatory-driven, they are very specific. Where our vision-based amendments, which we will do a kickoff for those on the at the workshop on the 16th, are everything that we heard from the community. Those are the items that will implement the Main Street plan. Those are the items that will address the vision that was established when we worked with the community. Those will adopt and implement the guiding principles. All of those are more locally driven changes, and those will come after this process. So the first thing we're going to do tonight is just review any of the changes that are statutorily required by element. So go on. Again, this is important because this is required by Florida Statute 163. That's okay. 163.3177. And it establishes that every local jurisdiction must do an ear-based amendment. Vision-based amendments are not required by the state. So when we do our comprehensive plan update, these are the amendments that the state requires us to do. The ones that we'll be doing next are the ones that we want to do. So move on. So it starts from the data. We look at housing trends, we look at transportation trends, we look at any trends and data that relates to that specific element. We identify any changes. We also review all of the statutes that have been approved since the last time the comprehensive plan was adopted in your case since 2018, and those drive where we make changes. These are all of the elements that you currently have in your comprehensive plan. So now we're going to go element by element and explain what changes and what policy recommendations that we're making based on the requirements from Florida statute or from the data analysis that we completed. So first one is policy 1.6, agriculture. In the A section, we are adding solar facilities, floating solar facilities, and this is pursuant to a change in Florida statute. In policy 1.2, we're adding a new policy that deals with electrical substations. Again, this is another Florida statute change that we are bringing current. We are updating also any of your maps, your future land use, your CRA areas, and any historic resources. So move on. So this is your existing land use map. This has been updated. Next. Your adopted future land use map, again, has been updated. Your redevelopment CRA area. And most of these updates are really only changing the format. We changed and updated the format from your previous one and bringing everything into GIS, which in the past years were PDF documents. So now this is all GIS based and much easier to make amendments to moving forward. We also updated any boundary changes that haven't happened since 2018, any annexations that came in, all of those would be updated in these maps. So now let's look at the transportation element, and the amendments were generally, we updated the map series to the current data. Again, boundary changes, anything that was required, anything that may have changes from level of service from the Department of Transportation, anything related to those, and anything that had to do with the capital budget process and anything that's reflective of your current capital plan. So these are your updated maps. Again, we also updated the format, so these are all now GIS based. And we added the 2045 and 2050 level of service maps. Now your infrastructure element, we changed the recognition of the landfill. We crossed out the New River Regional Landfill to change it to the Levy County Transfer Station, and we upgraded the amount of tonnage that is available. In Objective 1, we changed Florida Department of Economic Opportunity to the Florida Commerce, which is its current name. And in Objective 4, we added the Levy County Visitor Bureau. In Policy 1, now we're moving to the housing element. In Policy 1.1A, we changed the State Housing Financing Agency to the Florida Housing Finance Corporation. And we changed Policy 2.3B from Levy County to North Central Florida. Again, you can see these are very technical in nature. In Policy 1.1, in your conservation element, we changed from the National Environmental Protection Agency to U.S. EPA, which is its current title. And we updated our map series, which we will show next. And again, all of these changes are similar. They're updating the boundary maps. We're updating and changing to a GIS-based map, and any changes that came from the technical analysis. where there were no required changes in your recreation and open space element. In the public schools element, we just updated from the financially feasible work plan to the 5-year district facilities work plan. It was a change in title. The intergovernmental coordination element had no required amendments. In the capital improvement element, as mentioned earlier, we updated it from the 2019-2023 to the 2023-2029, and then made some clerical changes. So those are all of the required amendments. You can see that they're all very technical in nature. We're updating based on current titles. We're updating to meet current capital improvement planning documents. We're updating based on current statutes. And are there any changes into the policies or goals, objectives, and policies that we have modified?
I think not in those particular things. There are some things that I saw that our name is not correct. And I know that's a silly thing and not necessarily what I'm supposed to be looking at.
But let us take a look at that. I don't think we were looking at them not having your name from the last comp plan.
For example, the airport has changed its name.
Okay.
And it's all through here at the old name.
Okay.
Just something as simple as that.
Okay.
It talked about in the housing element, it talked about the different low-income housing that we have. It left out all the HUD housing. It's not in here at all that I saw. There are 2 sections of HUD housing that I'm aware of, other than the ones that are listed. Just little things like that.
Okay.
Other than that, what you've done as far as the EAR is concerned, obviously we have to bring it up to state statute.
Yep, that's all we were
We
doing.
have no choice.
Yep.
It's a whole different ballgame when we come to the original comp plan.
That's right. And that's where I'm going to go next so I know that these amendments are very vanilla. They're very cut and dry. They are what they are. Now, and I know that this is where you all want to go. You want to look at your comp plan. You want to make some amendments. So on the 16th, we're going to have a workshop.
16th of what?
June.
June. Because I know I don't have it on my calendar. I don't know if anybody else does or not. That's first we've heard about it. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay. Well, if that date doesn't end up working, please let us know. That is the date that we have been targeting. So if there is a problem, just let us know.
Are you going to have it before a council meeting?
It's immediately before the council meeting.
Okay.
It's the hour before the council meeting. And it is a joint workshop between the City Council, the Planning Commission, and the CRA. All 3 organizations are getting together at one time to do one kickoff.
Will that work for you?
Oh.
Yeah. I don't think any of us have heard of it before, but we just need to make sure everybody can come.
It's like at 4:20 or something like that on that time.
It's at 4:45.
Okay, because
4:45.
You had given me a time.
Oh, I think you asked me separately, and I told you when it would be. So
okay.
Yeah, I mean that was the time we were given. So I'm not aware of the communication here, but that is the time. And if that doesn't work, let us know. And again, this is a kickoff meeting, so we don't need more than an hour. We will be going over the vision statement. We'll be going over the guiding principles. We'll be going over at a high level the items that we will be updating. And then we will be talking about next steps and tools that need to be done in order to update the document. But this won't go into detail about the specific elements. We will work, again, according to statute, is the local planning agency, which is your Planning and Zoning Commission. They are the ones responsible for doing the actual update to your comprehensive plan. So just like we have been working through them to do the year-based amendments, and they have been spending all the hours going through each policy and all of the material, we will do the same thing with the vision-based elements. We will go through the Planning and Zoning Board, and we will look through every element based on the vision statement and the guiding principles to update and then bring forward those chapters to the City Council when ready. So again, our first step is the meeting on the 16th, and then we will be working for the next few months with the Planning and Zoning Commission. And at the same time we're doing that, I'm sorry, I'm clearing my throat, but I have a little bit of a tickle in my throat. At the same time that we will be doing this update and working on the vision-based updates, the year amendments are going to be continuing going through. So we have 10 days to transmit so we can look through and make sure we get all of those modifications and title changes. And then we will transmit to the state. The state has 30 days to review because this is an expedited review. And we will find out sometime at the July-August timeframe if we have any further comments or they have any further comments. And then we will bring it forward, assuming there are no further changes from the state, we will bring it forward for a second ordinance and we will adopt the year-based amendment. So these two things now are going to take a sort of a concurrent standpoint. We had to do the year-based amendments first because the heavy lift is the data. So each chapter was thoroughly updated, was thoroughly reviewed.
The data is great, by the way.
Thank you.
I know when you asked your question earlier, the answer is in here.
Yeah.
I can't remember which question he asked, but the answer, I just went straight to it because I had just read it.
So we spent hours going through your data and making sure that the 2018 data to today was updated. And because your 2018 information was all in PDF, it did take us a little bit longer, but we really took a lot of pride in making sure that the data told the story that we need, because we know that the data is going to drive not only the year-based amendments, but the vision-based amendments. So, so that's where we are now. We now that we have completed the data analysis, we've completed the amendments for the year, we're sending those off. We will continue to work in the background on the vision-based amendments after the kickoff on the 16th. And actually, to be honest, we're already working on it.
Yeah. Sure. Any questions for Ms. Kathy? Yes, ma'am.
So if we have a question about, specifically for me, I have a question about the transportation. Is it best for us to ask that on the 16th or to ask that tonight? What's the most useful way to spend our time?
What is the question related to?
Well, my question is about the traffic grades that the city was given, and discussion of future population growth and how that's going to affect the city. My concern was that it really only addressed the population growth within the city limits, and obviously we're a crossroads for a lot. I mean, we're at the crossroads of Levy and Marion County, and my question is, those numbers are not reflected in that data to the best of my understanding.
No. So the way that transportation analysis is done is it's been done by the city analysis. I agree with you almost. I mean, transportation is something that very few communities deal with on an isolated basis, but that is the state standard. So we follow the state standard for those updates.
Okay.
We certainly can take a value as we get into the vision-based amendments. If there are areas that we think are there roadways that we think or connections that we think need to be made, we can make those amendments at that time. But to make that kind of change in your year-based amendments, again, this is a statutorily required update at this point, and Laura and I have found the hard way. When you go beyond what the state asks in the year-based amendment, they will send you a comment about that. So we stick to what the state standard is on the year-based amendments. We can always make amendments. When we get to the vision-based amendments, we have a lot more leeway than we do when we're in the year-based amendments.
Okay. And we would be using the same context, same verbiage?
The data in terms of what?
When we get to the vision portion, when we get to the workshop. Is this the verbiage we're going to be working from? Or is it a totally different package?
No, we'll use this version.
So, yes, okay.
So this
we don't need to read another 500 pages. This is it.
No, this packet will be the packet that we will work from for the vision-based amendments.
Perfect.
Any other questions?
You have a question? Okay. Let me see if I get a motion first, then we'll go to the audience. Do I have a motion for ordinance 2026-756?
I make a motion we approve ordinance 2026-758.
A second?
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion from anyone? Would you like to make comment?
As I was looking at the slide presentations, can we go back to agriculture? Is there a way you can do that?
I'm sorry, you're going to have to speak.
Future land is under agriculture. I may have misread it, but I'd just like to check it before I open my mouth. I'm not interested in the map. I'm interested in. Go back, switch back to it.
Nothing like having your slides memorized, huh?
It's not there. It says it's adding solar facilities and floating solar facilities into 1.6 agriculture. I don't see how agriculture grows solar facilities or floating solar facilities.
I understand the question, but this is this is pursuant to 163.3205. This is a state requirement. It's in the land use. Okay. If you want to meet with us separately, I'm not, without having your full concern, I can look at where we put it and make sure we put it in a place that makes sense.
If you will, please go back. If you will, please go back to the mic. I know, but we didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry. If you'll say it just for the record so we can hear it, the record picks
I was going to say, I was from Palm Beach, and I sit on a number of boards from South Florida Water Management all the way through into the agriculture, because I represented the horse industry down there. And the truth of the matter is that things have a tendency, we've been through all these plans, the state plans, the studies of the restudies of the studies of the studies.
Right.
And it was all 15 to 20 years ago.
Right.
So this is a duplication to me. It's just a rerun. So I happen to see certain little things that didn't matter to anyone down there at the time turned out to be a significant problem later up as years come past. So I'm a little bit concerned about some of this stuff, which I'm sure I'll get a chance to review some of the data because I'll request it. But this one here caught me really, really quick. In 1.6 agriculture, that's there, pursuant to a change to section 163 through 3205. That's a change that doesn't seem to jive with the intent and purpose, in my opinion. And it may already be there, but it's not going to jive in that particular anyway. It's just been sitting there dormant. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, if you will.
No, go ahead. I was looking at the statute. So the statute for section 163.3205, Florida has come and told us as cities that solar facilities must be allowed, an allowed use. So it can't be a special exception. It has to be allowed use in any agricultural zoning. Now, luckily for us, our agricultural zoning, the acreages are quite small. So inside the city limits, this probably won't affect us. I don't know anybody who would put up a solar facility on, 5, 10, or 20 acres. However, in the county, this could be a major issue. But this change has to be made because the state has told us that we have to. You understand? Okay. Oh, that's fine.
Oh, I started to say the state
we're not here to
statute
say
says we
whether
have
we
to.
agree with statute, but I do want to. I'm going to read the highlight of the summary on 163.3205. The main point is that solar facilities are permitted use in all agricultural future land use categories and agriculture zoning districts in unincorporated counties and municipalities. Counties and cities can regulate setbacks, buffers, and landscaping, but those requirements cannot exceed the standard for similar permitted agricultural district facilities. So that is why we've added this. This is not something, this isn't again, these ear-based amendments, these are not things that necessarily you would want or that you would approve of in your community. These are things that the state has given you a preemption that you must allow
A
for.
preempted mandate.
It is a preempted mandate.
Yep. Please go. If you're going to talk, you have to go to the microphone. Sorry.
In the city, not the county. So county regulations is this, city is something else. So it's all your, if you've got, say, 5,000 acres of pasture land, this gets implemented into that. If you don't have any large tract except for 10, 20s, 50s, and 60s, then it shouldn't affect us one way or the other is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, but it's a state statute and we're required to put it in there,
It's a
whether it
statute,
affects us or
yeah.
not.
Whether or not somebody actually uses it,
Right.
that's not the question. The question is that all jurisdictions in Florida must allow for solar facilities in their ag zone. If they have ag zoning, they must allow for solar facilities.
I'm sorry, but that's
I'm not sure. This is
yeah.
We are tied by the hands of the state.
I'll give you the number of the state legislature.
It sounds like he's been listening. I know I listened to it all day long. Can you tell me if there is anyone else in the audience who has a question? Because we have a motion and a second. We're in the middle of discussion. Is there anybody on the council has questions for Ms. Eval? Okay. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
We will close the public hearing at this time, and we will see this when it returns from the state. Item C, discussion with possible action, city-owned property located at 541 West Noble Avenue, co-interim city manager, city clerk, Latricia Wright. I mean, you don't get to be the chief city manager? Not right this moment, anyway. Tomorrow. No. Thank you.
You can't wait.
And what I'm giving them is just a copy of the property appraisal. All right, this, get to the microphone, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Did you find it?
This property is city-owned property that used to be Mr. Peso's on top of the hill. Is everybody familiar with the property I'm talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. We received the appraisal back for that piece of property, and it is appraised at $115,000. I just want to know what the council wants to do. Do they want to sell this piece of property, or are we going to keep it? Because I was asked to get an appraisal for this piece. I have several people that are interested in purchasing that piece of property. I just need to know the direction you would like for me to go with this.
Anyone have any comment or opinion?
I have a question. I know that when we put this out for, I'm not sure I'm using the right term, but we put this out to see if we could get any businesses to come and potentially lease the land from us. We did not get any responses right away, and there was discussion of doing a study to try and figure out why we didn't get any responses, and I have not heard, and I know I missed a meeting, so I may have missed an update. Missed two meetings, I'm sorry, but did we get an answer to why we did not get any responses back?
They have not been able to figure out why no one responded. They've reached out independently to a couple of entities that they thought may be interested to see if there was a reason that they didn't bid, but we haven't gotten any responses.
We have not gotten a response about why people didn't bid, or we have just not gotten any bids?
Both.
Neither. Yeah.
So
Yeah. We didn't get it.
are we still waiting for a response on why it didn't go to bid, or is that?
I don't think that we're still actively reaching out. So when I say we, central bidding, the staff there has been helping us to try and reach out to entities that may be interested. If there was any traction, they were going to reach back out to us and let us know to put it back up. We haven't gotten anything from anyone yet. I check in periodically, but I don't think that they're actively pursuing requesting anyone anymore. If that's something that we continue to be interested in, we can. We just haven't had any traction on that.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, I could see people kind of getting a little scared off, because if you look at the way the property's laid out, you're right there at the retention pond for Tractor Supply. So that's a deep.
It's really great,
deep
though.
in-
If they could use the same retention pond, it would save them a lot of money.
Right. So, I mean, it could be as far as that. It also could be, look at the property. Needs to be cleaned up. I've said that from the beginning. If we were going to do it, we got to clean it up, make it look attractive. So, that's the other thing.
I believe that there are people who are interested in the property.
I have two that have
Yeah,
contacted me.
so I believe we should put it out to bid if we don't want it. And I, for one, don't think the city should be in the land business. If we can sell it, I think we should. I've said that from the beginning. I never really wanted to lease it. I wanted a second proposal for lease or sale, so that you could bid on either one that you wanted. But it was more time consuming to do it that way, and we essentially decided just to do it as an RFP for the lease, with no interest. I think it's worth putting it out there to see if anybody will bid on it. I mean, it will bring a productive business, hopefully, to town, rather than a vacant piece of land.
Do we want to, if we put out, just to get a sense of where we want to go. So if we put out a request for bids, we're basically just saying highest bidder, that's who we're going to sell it to, which is perfectly fine. We can do that. Alternatively, we could do a request for proposals for someone to purchase the land, and then we can evaluate their business model, whatever it is that they may be bringing, whether it's jobs that they bring to the city, or building infrastructure on that piece of property that may be useful moving forward. Is that more the goal that we're interested in, or we just, obviously the second option will take a little bit longer to draft and put together. First option is very simple, put it out to bid, and people will tell us how much they'll pay us for that land as it is. To establish additional criteria will take a little bit longer, but if that's something that we're interested in, being able to evaluate those other criteria, then I would suggest the second path. But you all tell
Madam
me.
Vice President?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. I just want everybody to understand, if somebody bids and buys that property for $100,000, we don't need to know what they're going to do with it. If they're going to spend that kind of money, they're going to know that they can put something there. So I think it's a waste of our energy and resources to have the attorney and these other people extrapolate what they're going to do with the property. If they buy the property, they can only do what you allow them. So what are they going to do? Resell it? Fine.
Which would be okay too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just bid it.
I would put a minimum bid on it, if that,
Absolutely.
so that we make sure we get at least, what the price is.
Well, and just like every other request for bids, if you all put it out for just a straight bid, you can deny all of the bids if it comes back lower than what you're willing to sell it for. So definitely a minimum, but even if everyone comes in above the minimum, you're not required to take any of them.
So what do y'all think?
I mean, it would even be, if we had the funds to do it, welcome to Williston sign. And, we have the basketball team that's won state championships, the girls. You could put that kind of stuff up on there. Other cities have done something like that. But,
I hope we can find another place to put that, because you're right. We have not been able to put it on the chamber's Welcome to Williston sign. They don't want anything on it. So that's something we didn't negotiate with them when we gave them money to help pay for it. I think the CRA did that, gave them part of the money to pay for it. But they won't let us put anything on it at all. So,
But
if you'd like to speak, please go to keep talking, Mr. Cox.
But I'm for. We need to get rid of it.
Yes, sir.
Steve McMillan, Williston. The marquee sign that the CRA is trying to put on, perfect spot to put. Every 30 seconds we could put world champion this, world champion that. We can do that with the sign. It'll be right there at the main intersection. Number two, just to go back a minute, I've been in business a long time, but if you're going to lease that property, so I might get a 25-year lease with you. Now I can't do any banking against it because I don't own the dirt. Y'all own the dirt. So I've got to have cash to build $1 million surveying office. That's 2-story because there's not a lot of parking there. And on property that I don't own. So now it has to be a metal building so that I can take it down when my lease is up or if I default on the lease. And you're going to left with some pretty ugly stuff. So if you are trying to lease dirt, I can see that as a problem. Sell it, fee simple, get rid of it, call it surplus, whatever you're going to do.
I agree 100%.
Thanks.
Yeah, agree.
You agree? I agree. What do you think, Mark?
Yes, I agree that I do think at this point in time we've exhausted the leasing option, and as much as I respectfully disagree that I do think it is advantageous for the city to have ways and means to generate long-term income. I think we're better focused on properties that are closer to our city center. That said, my concern is somebody purchasing it and leaving it, not that we're any shining beacon of an example over here, but leaving it in a state where it sits like that over 10 years and it just becomes another abandoned, blighted piece of property in the city, which it already had been for a lot of years. And so that's why I wonder if maybe the second option would be a good option so that we at least bring people to the table who have a business plan, who have an idea and have to present that to us rather than just some investor who buys it and sits on it for 10 years until property values go up. And that way we maybe motivate people to actually come in with a proper business plan. That's my thought.
So you're after a request for proposal,
In addition,
not just a bid.
Correct.
I could also, and this is, I typically don't
Off the wall,
say ideas before I've fully thought them out, but I do want to just posit that municipalities occasionally will sell land with a restriction on it. So we could look into the idea, and I can't promise you that this is possible. This is just occurring to me that maybe. But I can look into the idea of a covenant that indicates that they're going to build on something on the property within a certain period of time, or else ownership reverts to the city. And we would put that in our bid that that's what we're willing to sell it as, not a general warranty deed, if that's something that we're interested.
I would like that to be to where it's a timeline. We don't want it to sit.
If that's possible, that would be something I would be interested in as well.
And I have one more question, and I wish Walt was here maybe to answer this question, but I think before we put it out that we should have some engineering done to make sure that that anything that is built there can be engineered into that space, that we have an understanding and can offer that. I don't know what that would cost us, but if there is no room for water to go, or there's something in the engineering that would make this a piece of property that was not useful, I think we should know that before we take the next step of putting it up. Because again, it could end up with it just sitting there for decades because there actually is no place for the water to go. There is no place for parking that meets all of the requirements of the city.
I, on the other hand, think they need to do their own due diligence, and we don't need to be in the middle of that.
Yes, but if we're... Oh, sorry.
Give me 1 second. No, go ahead. No.
Are you, okay. I guess, yeah, I guess I would say then if that's the case, then we should just sell it, buyer beware. But if we are going to require that there is a time frame on when people build, I think that perhaps it's a little bit on the city to make sure that it is in fact a buildable site.
Have you moved to putting a time frame on when they have to build on it?
We did.
Why, for heaven's sake?
I mean, we didn't say what that time frame was yet, but we did say that we would like for them, because we don't want it to sit there blighted as it is.
Well, maybe they want to plant flowers.
They can do that. They just can't sit there blighted like it is. Give me 1 second. Any other council discussion at this point?
My only concern was the size of the land. I know that parking would possibly be an issue even with a smaller business. So I see your point, Meredith, when it comes to looking into what you can actually use it for, and maybe putting it into the stipulations actually put serious bidders out instead of just, hey, I'll take it and maybe sit on it for 20 years.
But do you want to spend some more money on it?
Depending on the money and if we have
we do need to
available.
consider the money we have already spent on it. It needs to be added to that, to this.
To the bid.
Because we did do demo on it and cost labor to do that. That needs to be taken into consideration as well. Mr. Penny, if you'd like to go to the podium.
I totally agree with Ms. Meredith. Why do you want to spend more money on engineering and everything? And how much more money have we got into this project of clearing it and putting fines on it and everything else? If someone's going to come in here and invest $100,000 in buying it, just let it be. Why you always got to litigate everything? Why?
Okay.
If they buy it, let them do what they want to do. They know what they can do with it.
I mean, it's zoned in a certain way. I'm assuming it's commercial. And they're only land use, you have to have a certain size lot to build something. And you have to have certain setbacks. In C1, you probably don't have any setbacks, if in fact it's C1. May not have any setbacks. I don't know if Laura has any insight on that.
We have such few C1s, I'm pretty sure it's C2.
C2, you think so? So you think this is just C1 right here?
Right here is the downtown district, it's CDB. That's a totally different thing.
Okay, so
I think it's C2, but yeah, the setback shouldn't be an issue. I don't know what you could put there, but that's up to the owner.
Now, Waffle House has already said it's too small. We talked to them already. Okay.
So, like when you're buying a house or selling a house, is there a way that we could only spend that money if we have a bidder, not just something we go and do and then put it out and hope we get it back? Is that something we can include in the lowest bidding price, so that way we make sure that we recoup that money before it's spent?
I don't think we want to spend money on that land.
Of course.
Not in that way.
Okay.
That's just me. Y'all think about it.
Which costs are we talking about?
If we decided to move forward with any surveying or anything, just to kind of prove what this land could be used for, if it's not already done, if that's something that we can say we can do if we have a serious bidder, and then only move forward with it when we have someone who's purchasing it. So we're not just doing it and hoping someone will come in and purchase the land. We do it as all in one contract, if that's possible.
I could try and craft bid language that would do that. I can't guarantee you that I would be able. I need to sort of try and conceptualize how that would read. Sort of an if-then, highest bidder also must be willing to
cover the costs,
cover these costs, etc.
If it would help get more bidders.
But it might actually deter bidders.
Yep, I would just try it the straightforward
Just
bid to
sell
start
the
with. If it doesn't
property.
go that way, we can talk about something else. So. Yeah.
Or we could do that.
So do we have a motion of any kind? Yes, sir, if you'd like to go to the podium.
Since I only know a little bit about the problem by driving back and forth beside it every day, it seems to me that it's sort of a mute deal. You put it for bid, the property owner, he buys it, he buys it. You have planning boards, you have restrictions, you have a book of code enforcement, you've got everything in the world
to decide in a way whether it's appropriate, it's not appropriate. No, you can't say, well, we want this and expect them to do it after they've spent their money. But you can say, no, you can't, or you tweak this and this will work. You have that ability already. So to put any kind of restrictions, regulations, or anything else on this piece of property other than to set a price to sell it, I think it's mute. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I tend to agree with you, and to know that the buyer should do his due diligence before he decides to bid, in knowing what he can build there and what he can't. And I just believe that's the way it should be. That's the way it would be anywhere else.
So are we still considering that we would potentially put a timeline so it does not sit vacant and blighted
I have
for?
no problem with that.
Okay, I'm comfortable with that.
If our lovely attorney can figure out how to write that in the language, that would be wonderful.
What would we want? So essentially, what I'm contemplating is a deed that has a covenant, which is basically just a promise by whoever is purchasing it that they will do X within Y period of time. Now, you all tell me what X and Y are. Do we want it developed? Do we want it planted flowers? Do we want, what do we, give me a sense of what we see we want to require them to do, and then the period of time that we want them to do it. And then what I will do is I will craft a deed that has that restriction in it, and then that is what will go out with the bid saying this is what you will be getting for this property.
And Laura, I believe, can help us with this too. Whatever the verbiage would be to make it not blighted.
Unblighted.
I mean, it may turn out to be a parking lot. It may turn out to be a telephone store. I mean, think T-Mobile would fit there really good. I mean, another one may come in. Just think about that size building would fit there fairly well, but somebody may want to buy it for a parking lot.
Put charging
Right.
stations.
Or a charging station.
And
So
as the
somebody-
citizen mentioned, if somebody buys it right now and if your code enforcement officer decides that it is not up to par and it's blighted, they can start that process. So it's really not for us to say what blight looks like as the council. It's for your code enforcement officer. Read the code.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't go there, huh?
Is the concern? I'm trying to get, I guess, to the goal. Is the concern that it will, at some point in the future, because I know that we've gone through this a lot, where someone will buy up a property and then it goes back into code enforcement arrears, and then we re-lien it, and then we repossess it, and then we resend it out, and it's just lather, rinse, repeat until all of us wither away. So is the idea that we just want to keep it from having code enforcement liens against it? I mean, we could write the language like that if the property owner allows it to be in code enforcement violation such that we have to initiate a foreclosure, it immediately reverts to ownership of the city.
I would be comfortable with that. I just would hate to see it be yet another property that sits vacant because it's a property that is difficult to fit a building on, and it just sits looking like a crumbled ruin for the next decade.
Yeah, I agree. It needs to be in usable condition, whatever that use may be.
And meet our codes.
And meet current code, right. Within a certain period of time. So what do y'all think? Year, 2 years? Mr. Ben Steagle.
Yes, ma'am. Just food for thought. Somebody just mentioned charging stations for electric vehicles, and we own the electric, so there could be a passive income there for the city.
I mean, almost anything that puts it back on the tax rolls. Not that we're going to get any taxes, mind you, not with the language on the ballot that it is. But if anything that get it back on in usable condition, no matter what that use may be, so whatever is zoned. I mean, if it's zoned, there's only certain things you can do in a certain zoning area. And it must be C2. I think it's C2. We need to check on that.
So I can look into a deed restriction that looks at code enforcement liens and violations as the restriction.
So you want to bring it back to us?
I can do that, yeah.
I want to just table it and let her bring it back to us?
Yes.
All right, so maybe the next meeting before we have to discuss it all
I
over
should
again?
be able to get it to the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. All right, then we will move. Let's see. Where are we going to move? We're going to move to item D, discussion with possible action, city manager open position and relieving the co-interim city manager Mike Rolls back to the police department. Council President Darfeness Hinds is not here. She is ill. I think I'm going to give it to the police chief or the mayor. I don't know where the mayor went. Miss Owens after him. As you can read from it, it says that the city manager, the chief city manager, will be relieved to return back to the chief's position. I believe that's what this item is all about. And discussion of hiring a new manager and co-interim city manager if he leaves, if he is removed. Mr. Mayor Darfeness Hinds, the president, is not here. Would you like to take this item about the police chief? Or would you like for me to try to wing it?
Yes, I would like to take it. However, I apologize. Either you want to sell a piece of property or you don't, and then 30 minutes of discussion about it, I got tired of hearing it. So I left. Now,
Well,
let's talk about the current
It's the only place we
thing.
can discuss it, so we have to do it.
Are we talking about the chief?
Yes, sir.
My chief
Yes, sir.
of my police department?
That's what I heard.
And what is your question?
What is your desire at this time?
Okay. I've made my desire very clear. Mike Rolls is the chief of police. And we both agreed that the city needed our help. And for that reason, he said he would help. He would help to organize it. He would help to put out the fires that he could. And personally, I think he's done an admirable job. However, even when we did that, Vice President Jones, you're aware of this, there were other options. There is an organization that will provide city managers to cities that need temporary city managers. Oil Wingo was one of them. So there was a choice. However, I agreed that he would be the best choice because he was known. And at this time, after 2 months, he needs to get back to our police department. And that is what I expect him to do, is to go back to the police department. And my understanding is, again, the council has options. And I won't go into those options because they're none of my business. But there are options. He does not need to stay, and I need him back at the police department. Thank you.
We are aware that you want him back, and that you didn't know that we were going to keep him as long as we have. I too think he's done a wonderful job, and I really will have a hard time letting him go. In all honesty.
So did I.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think the co-interim city manager situation that we had with Ms. Latricia and Chief has been an excellent one. I think it's made the staff happy that he's done a good job for us. And in all honesty, I can tell you that I told him that he needed to make up his mind whether he wanted to be the city manager or he wanted to be the
Him and I
police
have
chief.
had that conversation several times, because if he was going to stay, I was going to begin to advertise
Yes.
for a new chief of police, as the council should have done 2 months ago.
In all honesty, we were letting the air clear, and we needed to do that. We needed to do it.
That's an opinion. The fact is, the charter gives the council
Would
the
you please use the other
responsibility.
microphone? I believe that we needed to let the air clear, that it was not something, we needed to let it clear for the staff as much as anybody else. We needed the dust to settle, and I believe he's done an excellent job in doing that. And I believe that the decisions, employee-wise, the recommendations he's done, I think they've all been right on the money. And as I said, I told him we needed to hire somebody. It was either going to be a police chief or it was going to be a city manager. And he has chosen to go back to the police station. He wants to be the chief of police. So that is his decision. And you'll be happy to know that is his decision. And I think he's done a great job, and I just need him to know that. And I believe that Miss Latricia will do a fine job as the interim by herself, and I believe that she is ready for that. And I don't know how long she's going to want to do that. She may want to do it forever. I'm not really sure, but I believe if we can at this time, we need to appoint her as our interim city manager by herself and let the chief go back
Vice President Jones,
to the police station.
request permission to speak.
Of course.
Thank you. It is my understanding that my chief of police and your new interim manager have discussed the possibility of him being an assistant to her as is needed. And I have no problem with that. But I have a question for the attorney. Dennis Stroh was the chief of police and became the city manager and did not resign from the police department. Why the change?
I am unaware of his resignation status. I will tell you that all I can tell you is nobody asked me if, at that time, if the chief of police could serve as the city manager and the chief of police without resigning.
So the change is that the council asked you.
The change is that it was brought to my attention that it was in question and the law is clear.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I have no problem with it. I don't know what the issue is. Miss Meredith?
I would like to entertain the idea, and the chief and I have discussed this, that in some way, shape, or form, yes, he goes back to the police department, but in some way, shape, or form, because of the bonds that he has built with the employees over his time here as co-city manager, that he is able to continue in some capacity to help manage the staff, help keep everything on the path that he has put it on, and help oversee some of the changes that he and Latricia have implemented. And we have discussed and would like advice from the attorney, and perhaps the chief can step in and the council to see if there is a way that we could, as the mayor said, if there is a title that the chief could have, Latricia obviously being our interim city manager, but a title that the chief could have where he could continue to help counsel the city on keeping the employees and some of the changes that he have made going in the right direction. Did I express that well?
I think I understand the question, which is, so the restriction is that the chief cannot be chief of police and an appointed in an appointed position by the city. Okay, so the Florida Constitution considers any appointed position and him being chief of police to be dual office holding. So what is not prohibited by the Constitution is internal organization. I'm trying to conceptualize based on your charter.
I started to say we got to watch our charter and our mayor over there.
Based on your charter, how we would delineate. My recommendation is, if that is something that we're interested in, the easiest way to do that would be to just informally
Let him do it.
have Latricia be able to consult with Mike on anything that she may need assistance with, or ask him if she needs help with anything, and everyone just having sort of the understanding that Latricia is the city manager, delegating as sort of informally agreed for some assistance, but that ultimately all decisions are Latricia's, and she is sort of in that chain of command.
I will say in my discussions with him, I sort of said the same thing. I said he will be a department head, and he needs to come to every department head meeting. He needs to come to every staff meeting so that he is there in advisory as any staff, any department head would be, not just the police chief, but any. It's not like we're singling him out because we want the fire chief's opinion, the airport manager's opinion, we want the utility director's opinion. We want them all to attend the department head meeting. We want them all. You're laughing at me.
I'm looking at Lamar.
And we want them to take part in those discussions with the staff as well as with their other coworkers, meaning their other department heads, supervisors. And I said, please don't do that. Do that even more than you did before, so that Latricia can lean on you if she needs to, especially in the beginning. And yes, I think an informal way to do it is probably the best.
So I have a question for Miss Latricia. Do you want this as a short-term thing until we find a city manager, or would you like to stay for long-term? Because I think that will help us to point the direction that we want to go.
We're going to do this as a short term while you all are looking for a city manager. I will follow the steps that's needed to put out the notification that the city is looking for a city manager. So,
yeah, if she decides to apply, that would be fine.
Yeah, I've got no problem with that. I've told her before I think she would do well.
Any other comment?
Madam Vice President, one other comment. I heard in discussions between the soon-to-be new city manager and the soon-to-be chief of police that the discussion, and I don't know who else was in it, about one of our problems here in the city is we have no plans of succession. Once the clerk is gone, we have a crisis. Once the chief is gone, we have a crisis. A little bit of planning can help to alleviate that. My understanding is that the clerk has a great deal of knowledge, and I know she does, and there is somebody that she could begin to teach how to be a clerk. So if she should end up deciding to leave her husband and get married and go to Hawaii, we would have somebody, and the chief the same thing. We should be planning for succession, and we have never planned for succession. Elected people, we don't need a plan for succession. We have a special election, we're replaced like a pig. But the staff, the chief of police, the clerk, they should be in a position where they can begin training someone and mentoring someone to replace them, as is someday. I don't think any of us are going to get out of this alive. Yeah. So someday they're going to have to be replaced. And even if their first choice doesn't work, you have a plan in place. And my understanding, soon to be city manager, is that you have a candidate in mind that you will begin to show the duties of a clerk and see if she can't do it, she can't do it, but you have a plan of succession.
Yes.
I like it.
Yeah, I think they both have a plan, yes. And I like it too.
Thank you. Well, the thing about succession plan, I agree. But nobody expected for things to turn out like they did from the beginning.
Right.
This is why we're looking for people, because they did not.
Yeah. And I know, Mr. Mayor, you and I both have been through the use of the interim person from the Florida League or from the Florida City County Managers Association. I, for one, hated that process.
I called her the gunslinger.
I started saying the name you called, I don't want her anywhere near my city. So I like this better than that, because Latricia, we know her, the staff loves her, they trust her, they trust her knowledge, and I think she's a much better alternative to going with somebody you don't know.
And this could be a long-term finding somebody, because, what was it, High Springs? It took quite a while for
Lake
them to
City
find.
as well. I think
Lake
they
City
hired
to
it
find
immediately,
the
got
city
rid and hired
manager.
again. Yeah, Lake City had a horrible time.
You know,
Matter of fact, I saw Clay sitting there on TV the other night.
But
when we were in the
that's,
middle of that.
but I think that's pretty much anywhere.
Yes.
If you listen to the news in different counties and.
Mrs. Wright, are you prepared to retire as the city manager?
I plan to retire as a city clerk.
It's just got to be longer than 2 years.
I like that. A lady who knows what she wants. Okay, so we know what we're doing on the short term, and I would entertain a motion to that effect. If you would, I don't know that we have to say we're returning the chief to the police station, but if you will make a motion to appoint Ms. Wright or as a continuation of her current appointment.
And if we could put an effective date on that, as of whatever date. I
mean, she
as
was
long as
already
it's clear
it.
in the motion.
She's already
when for signing paperwork purposes.
Okay, so for paperwork purposes, let's do June 15th.
Was that a question directed at me?
Nope, it was a suggestion to part of the motion. That the
June
effect
15th is this Thursday?
I know it's like next Thursday.
Wednesday.
Another
Monday.
I believe he needs to tie some things up before he can walk out the door. Yes, sir.
He could tie things up for the next 10 years. I want him back in my police department.
Well,
I have given him the choice between being in my police department or being your city manager.
And he's chosen that.
And he has chosen to be in police department. He does not need to stay here another 2 weeks. I will give him till the end of the week, but I expect him to go back to the police department. That is his job. He is someone that is under I let him do this to help you. I expect you to honor him coming back to the police department where he is needed. Thank you.
Then if I may make that suggestion based upon that.
What suggestion?
The suggestion would be, police chief stays over there. Miss Wright has a panel of people that could do it and not have help from the police chief.
Can I just intervene for one moment? Mayor Goodman, we had discussed June 15th.
We did discuss June 15th.
We did.
Yes, June, you and I, so June
And
15th.
I told you I would do it. but-
Yes, and that's
Well,
what
that-
we're asking, June 15th.
That's all I'm asking for is June 15th.
Okay. I did say June 15th.
Yes,
You
sir.
caught me.
Which
I'm
is
not happy about it, but I did say it
Well, I
because
appreciate
I
you.
happen to like you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for
And
remembering
the
that.
reason that you gave was a good reason.
Okay, thank you.
So I withdraw anything about the end of the week. You can have him till June 15th at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
That's actually a Monday, so you can have him at 8 o'clock. How about that? Or 7, whatever time he normally
When does
shows
the
up.
weekend? When does the employment weekend?
Do what now?
When does the employment week?
Oh, I'm not sure which week it ends. What does
Well, what
anybody
day of
know?
the week?
Payroll, does payroll end on Thursday or Friday or Wednesday? When does payroll end? This Friday? Who said that? Okay, so it's Friday. So Friday is good. So it'll end on Friday. He will start to work his effective date.
Not this.
Yeah, it ends every
No.
Sunday.
Monday the 15th. He will be back at the police station. Can we have a motion? Anybody venture a motion in that effect? Or are we going to have consensus? You need a motion?
I mean, we'll need a motion to, as of whatever date,
June 15th.
Latricia will be the only city manager.
Interim
Chief Rolls
city
will be
manager.
relieved of such duties.
Okay, and the police chief will return to the police station.
The police chief will just be gone from the city.
He'll
and
just be
I will
relieved
bring
from
him
his
back
duties.
to the police department.
He's still
Do
going to be
not
with the
need a
city because
motion
that,
for
that
me to
happens
bring
to
him
be
back.
to have us to be part of the city. Anybody want to make that motion? No?
No.
You're not going to make it? Oh,
No.
okay, well, what do you want?
I want him to stay.
Well,
Not stay as co.
We gave him,
not
we
not
gave him the
saying-
chance.
I know.
He made a choice.
I'm
I
just
actually
not-
gave him the same question.
I'm not, not that I don't 100% believe Latricia can do it, but I like the partnership. I think it has done well for our city. I think our city has a terrible reputation with city managers at this point in time. I think we need a certain sense of continuity here for a while. And, I have discussed this with the mayor in person. He knows my opinions. We've agreed to disagree, but I'm not making the motion.
However, I did tell the chief that if anybody gives the new city manager any trouble, he can come over here and arrest their butt.
And I also gave him the same choice. I said, it's your choice. You can choose to be the city manager or the police chief. And he chose to be the police chief. And I again thank him for everything he's done and will do in the future. But I still need a motion.
Well, the nice part, though, Latricia is well known throughout the state.
Yes, she most certainly is.
Yeah.
So that could be a benefit to helping to find somebody. She
No, we're
does
very
know
lucky
people.
to have Latricia. I don't mean to sound in any way, shape, or form like I don't have 100% faith in Latricia. I just really think this partnership has righted the ship faster than any of us could ever have hoped and
Absolutely.
dreamed for, and I really wish we could continue with that for enough time to get our reputation back, to get our feet grounded, to breathe a little bit and find the right person so that we don't keep churning through city managers.
I have to pass the gavel to make the motion myself. I don't have anybody to pass it to.
Go ahead, Mayor.
Would be the next senior most council member.
Huh?
If you needed to pass the gavel, it would be to the next senior most council member.
For the record, I've passed the gavel to Mike Cox, who is the most senior council member here. Oh, sorry. And I would make a motion that we appoint Latricia Wright as the interim city manager as of June 15th.
I second.
We have a first, we have a second. Any other discussion? No one? All right, we'll do a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes 4-0.
Thank you. We'll go to item 9 now, which is public participation. And I will ask for the second time if there is anyone who has anything to add to this agenda. Do what now? Yes, help yourself.
I would just like to say that I have thoroughly enjoyed being the interim city manager. Built a lot of relationships with the staff and citizens. It was nice. There's a lot of work that could be done that needs to be done, and I know that Ms. Latricia will be able to carry that on. But I just really want to thank the staff in the community for the support. The staff has really developed a strong bond, and I appreciate everything that they did while I was here. And it's a tough situation. I'm torn between the two, but thank the staff for everything that they've done. It wasn't all me. It was the staff working together, the leaders, the managers, and the team that made this all possible. And thank you, City Council, for giving me an opportunity.
Yep, don't go too far. Okay, did we vote? We didn't vote. We did vote. Thank you. Public participation. Yes, public participation. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am, if you will. Please state your name and your city of residence. You're very patient to sit through all this.
I didn't know it would be this long. Sue Capper. I have a home at 108 Northwest 2nd Street.
Yep.
On May 26th between noon and 1:30, I have a bunch of contractors working on my house right now. And a young man working with Qualified Plumbing was working on my property and waited for an hour and a half to have the water turned back on. When the city employee showed up, I think maybe some words were said that were made the city employee upset, and the contractor felt physically threatened. So I understand dealing with the public can be a problem, but if you're going to be a public servant, you got to have a thick skin. And so I have two questions. One, what, if in that situation, what should the contractor have done? Or should he do? I have a neighbor who has video, or has a video that's pointed in that exact direction. So I'm going to seek video. I have a picture of the person. So if you're feeling threatened by a public servant, what do you do? And that's my first question. And the second one is, right now the rule, as I understand it, is it's a $500 fine if you turn on or off your own water at your own meter. So it's super frustrating for the contractors. It's super frustrating for me because I pay for that contractor to sit there and wait. So can we, consider a process where, plumbers can register with the city? They're already insured and bonded. So they could register and then just make a phone call to, the plumbing person and just say, I'm going to turn it on or off, so you know who is going to do something. I mean, these are professionals. They do it all the time. So that was my second question. Can another process be considered than having everybody wait, which costs everyone money? That's all I have.
I know it's a silly question, but what time of day was it?
It was lunchtime, and I think the employee was at lunch.
Okay. That was the only halfway excuse I could think of. It was a lunch or after 4 o'clock, which is still no reason to get it into an altercation
way
with someone.
longer than an hour.
Right.
So
yeah, there's no reason for that. Mr. Mayor, do you have a comment?
Thank you. Vice President Jones. Yes, I do. When you're out there in the field, that contractor, he was upset. He had been sitting there
an hour and a half, at least.
An hour and a half. It's costing him money.
Costing me money. I'm going to pay it.
He's trying to deal with his customer. You're exactly right. You got to have a thicker skin. However, the contractor should think a little bit. I am a contractor, and I have been in those situations where the inspector annoyed me to no end, but they have the power, and as a contractor, you just don't start that kind of an argument by being ugly to the person that has come to finally turn your water on or to pass your building or whatever that inspector is, electrical inspection or whatever. That's part of the job. The contractor should have done better. The city staff, you're not saying that he never came back, are you? He did turn your water on.
Yeah, and then the contractor.
They just had words, but he turned your water on.
Well, it was way more than words.
Right. Nobody struck anybody, right?
It was right there.
Huh?
It was right there.
But they did not physically hit, because that is a crime.
Yeah.
So they can talk and they can be ugly. Part of dealing with city and inspection officials when you're a contractor, and I understand. I would have never bothered. I do think you have an excellent point, though. The fact that plumbing contractors should be able to turn the water on. Here's the problem. If we let the plumbing contractors turn the water on, don't we have to let the electrical contractors turn the meters on? See, I'm just pointing out, it's a never-ending slope. And it is
but
a
these are
slippery
professionals.
slope.
They're
So
insured and
are
bonded.
electricians.
Yeah, exactly.
They are licensed just like the plumber is. And the problem is that the city has to maintain control. I'm sorry that happened to you.
Well, so my suggestion, which is
Yes.
have, a list of allowed people, because you vetted them or whatever, whether they're electric or
It's a
plumbing
very
or whatever.
nice suggestion, but I will tell you it's
Yeah.
a slippery slope.
I will say your 5 minutes is up.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I will I will, you got something to say? You got me to ask Alex, what do you want me to do?
They do have the citizens do have an opportunity of having a shut-off valve put on their side of the property. Am I right, Alex?
Yes, sir. It's actually an ordinance that requires all citizens in our city limits to have a shut-off valve on their site.
Yes. So that opportunity is there for the citizen to have a shut-off valve put on. Then they don't have to wait for the city to come turn the water off. Unfortunately, these guys were at lunch.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. It was either lunch or after 4 o'clock, but that was my first guess.
Yeah. And they are entitled to a lunch.
Right.
And the contractor did not, when they turned the water off, did not give them a time when he thought that they would be finished for them to come back. So they went to lunch.
Yeah.
And it happens. I'm sorry it happened, but it does happen. And I am aware of it. There was some exchange of words, but it didn't start from the city employee. Okay. And I can't wait to see the video.
That'll be nice. Okay. Alex, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, ma'am, other than the ordinance does require all citizens to have a shut-off valve on their site.
And when did that go into effect? And did the citizens know that?
That was...
Because I certainly don't have one.
That was before me.
Before you. It couldn't have been too long.
So it would have been over 5 years ago.
So were people grandfathered in that didn't have one? Are they all...
They're not grandfathered
violating
in
the
per
law?
se. If they don't have it, they weren't aware of it. They may not have it there, but if they are aware of it, they're supposed to get one installed on their site. And when we replace new water meter boxes, we also install that shut-off valve for them.
Cool. All right. We learn something every day. Any other questions on the matter? Okay. Any other public participation? Yes, sir. If you will, state your name and your city of residence.
My name is Scotty Parker, and address is 5630 Northeast 150th Street in Chiefland. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about the water meters. We work probably within a 100-mile radius of here, and this is the only city that we've ever had an issue with turning the water off. We do it all the time. And I mean, I would like to know the ordinance or the verbiage, the ordinance number of where it says if we turn it off that we're going to get fined, or I mean, I understand. I just feel like there needs to be a little common sense here after talking with Alex, saying that y'all are understaffed. Y'all only have 4 people that handles everything, that y'all are really busy. And this has happened probably 4 to 6 times, listening to my guys say, I've called them, told them I was ready for them to turn the water on, and it's been 45 minutes. It's been an hour. So it's not always at lunch. It's happened enough that this is why I'm here. But, it's as simple as, turning it on and off, but we have to just sit there and wait. And then we have to charge Mrs. Jones here that's on a fixed budget. But it's like, if they're so busy and they say, hey, this is a good meter, man, y'all could turn it back on when you're ready. Like, we're not going to vandalize it. We're not going to do anything wrong to it. We're just trying to help the customers of your city. Yeah. But I will feel like we're fighting against, I don't know. I just, but that's basically what I wanted to say. Is there the ordinance that says if we touch it,
Yeah, and it talks about the tampering fee, and
There
that's going
is.
to fall under $750
the
fine.
tampering fee is if you alter the reading of the meter. Like if I'm trying to alter it to cheat y'all out of water.
If you'd like to read the ordinance, it describes it in there.
Is
Yes,
it?
sir.
Okay. But what I did read was if you're tampering with the reading of the meter to alter like the water, the electric, of like trying to cheat the city. It wasn't that. We're not going to tamper with it. All we're going to do is turn it off and turn it back on when we're done, just the same way y'all do. So,
And we can sit down and read it together if you like.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I would like to say that
Is turning off and on considered tampering? That would be my
I need-
question.
sorry. It actually says, sorry. This is BJ Bishop, City of Williston. It actually says that if they touch it for any reason, for any purpose, then that's considered tampering.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. But you know, as far as you saying about sir, as far as you saying about taking 45 minutes, an hour or something to get there, they don't know what they're doing prior to them getting there. They could be finishing up a job or coming from somewhere else. So I don't think that we're just going to drop what we're doing to go turn the water off, because we don't know what they're doing prior to that. Well, City Hall knows, but as far as you or I.
Yeah, I understand that. It's just the silliness of it, of needing them to do something. You know, it's we might as well wait on somebody to come turn the lights off when we're all done here. It's, you know, it's just, it's a knob. You turn it on and off, you know.
But you know what? I had a house built.
Yeah.
Our water bill was a little high, only to learn that the contractor that was building the house next door was actually coming in and getting water because they tapped into our hose.
Right.
And sitting there pumping water into their job site so they could have it.
Right.
I understand. Don't necessarily agree, but after having that done, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, you know, we haven't seen this anywhere, and, you know, it's just been a hassle for the customers, so we have to tell them if we do any work and the water needs to be turned off, that they're going to be charged hundreds of dollars waiting on the city because they will not allow us to touch us. But every other city around here does not have an issue with it other than the city of Williston.
Thank you, Mr.
Did you put a
Parker.
water valve on her meter box? Did you install that valve so she don't have to turn the water off or turn it on when the city comes? Because I asked you that
Right.
question before.
Yeah. No, we did not on hers. We have done that on several of the other customers that we've serviced. And again, it was the same thing, of course.
Yeah.
45 minutes or an hour, so we're waiting to test ours. So, you know, the customer, we could tell them that it's going to cost you $250, but it may cost you $450 because we're waiting on the city to come turn on the valve, because we're not allowed to touch it.
Okay, I appreciate it, sir. Your 5 minutes is up. Any other public participation? Got a comment? Okay, go ahead.
Latricia, can we please put on Facebook once a month for the next few months a reminder of that ordinance that residents are responsible for having? Because I believe that there are many residents who are not aware of that
I
ordinance.
had no idea.
And I think that it'd only be fair for us to educate them, not just once, but continuously, for these kind of things that do cost them money and inconvenience and potentially damage to their property if they do have a water leak.
Thank you. Mr. Fuller.
Albert Fuller, City.
Whoa.
There's a strong.
I think they turned it up.
Just a brief comment. I'm concerned that at some point this council needs to really discuss city manager, and I think it needs to be on the agenda because it's more than just advertising for a city manager. I think this council probably needs to consider what they're planning on paying a city manager, because part of the problem is we're hiring people that probably are not qualified to be city manager. And we need someone that can be an administrator and can do the job. And you may end up paying $150,000 or whatever, but it will be well worth it if this city plans on having a good city manager that will last and will understand not just looking at problems or solving problems, but actually thinking ahead and
forward.
being proactive about planning for this city. And I don't think this city has done that. And we need to consider there needs to be more money in that budget for a city manager than what we're putting out.
We've
And
got to
we-
get it right this time.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Fuller.
Thank you, Mr.
And
Fuller.
I know we will discuss the job description and the salary and everything when we're ready to do that. I don't know that we're ready yet. I think we're still trying to repair not only our reputation, but help our employees to trust the process as much as we need to trust the process, because we've been burdened as much as everybody. So thank you for those comments. Anyone else on public participation, because we're almost there. Okay, the only thing I would like to do before we adjourn, I will ask everybody else for announcements. Anybody got any announcements? Anybody in the room?
BJ Bishop Animal Shelter. We have cute little shirts now. This one isn't what they look like. This is staff, but they just have the format in multiple colors. And then we also have for a donation of $20. And then we have these little stickers for your decals for your car. Just a little paw print with the puppy and the cat for a donation of $3. Just wanted everybody to know. Come see me at the shelter.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate it. Trying to get our name out. Mr. Cox, what you know? You
Well,
look like you want to say something.
4th of July has come in quick.
It is.
So, Alex, who's going to be working on getting the council float ready?
The council float ready. Most of the staff inside actually goes out there and takes care of it with Tom, and they get it all set and ready for you.
Okay, because I'll get with you next couple
Better
of
do it
days
quick.
and show you.
Yeah, all right.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Miss Latricia, what you got?
That's been taken care of. I did pass that message along about the float.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Gerald from IT. So I have a quick announcement. The animal shelter subpage has just been recently updated on the city website. So it now includes a link to the Facebook page that BJ has been working on. And it also has a Google map so people can find the animal shelter easier.
Cool. Can actually.
An exclamation point.
Yeah, they won't end up at WAG instead, right? Yes, they're always in the wrong place, right? Whichever one they're looking for. All right. Anybody else have an announcement? All right. Miss Latricia, I knew you had to have some.
I'm sorry, I do have an announcement, and this really is for another group, which I am in, but I am still taking donations for underwear for little boys, girls, big boys and big girls for the upcoming school year. With the gas prices going up, there's going to be a lot of parents that won't be able, unfortunately, to purchase socks, underwear, bras, and etc. for their kids. So I will have a bin here at the front counter if anybody would like to donate any of the items I just listed. That also includes hygiene products as well. So if you can, just spread the word for me that I will be taking donations here.
Yeah, I would add that the project is called Drop Your Drawers, and they want drawers and socks.
But to
So there
be
you go.
clear, you don't want my used underwear,
No,
right?
but I want you to
Okay,
drop your
okay.
drawers off at the city hall in the box.
Oh my God.
That's what it's called. And the other thing, what else was I going to add? Something else I was going to say about that, but I went out my brain just that quick.
Well, while you think about that, can I
Because you
say
made me
something?
laugh. Yes, please.
Okay. Tomorrow, Alex, correct me if I'm wrong. Townhomes will have power, so they can start building.
They'll have power to the lift station
Power to the lift station.
Who's that now?
The
for the startup.
townhomes.
Oh, the townhomes. Oh, my
Yes, ma'am.
goodness.
So the electrical crew's done a great job of getting that power there. So hopefully we'll start seeing some development going on over there.
Perfect. I know I
And-
drove by there the other day. Saw y'all all out there, but nothing out of the ground yet.
Yeah, no, they've got sign.
They-
I
they-
noticed the big sign up.
That's good.
Actually, they did. They put up batter boards.
They got one
last 2
formed
days,
up
one
already.
formed up.
Yep, they already got one formed up. So we got some movement there. And real quick, on your next at your next meeting, I'll get with Miss Latricia. But there is a potential opportunity for a land swap of some land. The owner owns the piece that connects to Cornelius Williams Park off of 318. They would like to swap lands somewhere in the city. So I'll get Latricia all the information so you all can make a decision on that. Okay. But I think here's is 3 acres. The one that they want to swap for at Canadian Williams. So they're just looking for a land swap from the city.
Okay, sounds good.
So we have townhomes, like you said, well powered station tomorrow. Then we plan to go back to Block 12 to finish some things up. And then the plan after that was to hit COE with the lights and a few other little jobs that have been put off so we can complete projects.
Very good. Thank you. I myself am going to Palm Beach County to my Florida Municipal Insurance Trust Board meeting Thursday and Friday. So that's where I'll be. I'll be back late Friday afternoon. It's a hike down there and back, but I'll be back soon. The only other thing I have is I would like to, since the chief is going back to the police station, I would actually like to thank Major Fortney for holding down the desk and sitting in the big chair. I know you've spent some nights and days doing some crazy stuff in that position while you were there. Not that you wouldn't have done it if you were in a different chair, but we appreciate you for doing that. Anything else for this agenda? If not, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion, we adjourn this meeting.
I will take that as a second. I have a motion and a second. We will adjourn at 8:20 p.m. Thank you for coming.